What up, y'all? It's your boy Spicy Noodles, and today we are going to do a sleeve video for 2025 because the one I did for last year is starting to pick up some traction again and get comments, so I figured why not, let's do one for this year with different brands and, you know, different thoughts and opinions over the course of the last year. So before we get into it, I will say I am partnered with Top Cut Gear sleeves, but I am still 100% honest in every review I do. I told the Top Cut team this way before I actually partnered with them. I'm going to be 100% honest. If a product sucks, I'm going to say it sucks. If it's good, I'm going to talk about it. So the way it is. So let's get into that. So the 2024's video is essentially just giving some good alternative to Dragon Shield because yes, we all know and love Dragon Shield, but sometimes Dragon Shield is just kind of hit or miss quality control wise, right? We all know it. We've all been there. It happens. Not the end of the world. But, so, let's start off with Dragon Shields, right? So, Dragon Shield, we all know them. We all love them. We've all used them at least once, no matter how far into your TCG journey you are. Dragon Shields. So, you know, matte texture. Most of the time, they shuffle very nicely. Every now and then, you get a box where I don't know if the edges are just jacked up or what, but every now and then you get a box that doesn't shuffle worth a crap, and the corners will bend on the first, second shuffle. There you can see in the corner of that one, the corner there is split already. I used this box of sleeves for maybe a month before I started having issues and I had to replace them. A lot of their lighter colors are still see-through for some reason. And when you bring it up to them, they just like to say, oh, well, you can just use our smoke-colored inners and it won't be a problem. In my opinion, that is a really crappy response because why should I have to buy more sleeves just to make the first sleeves usable? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's Dragon Shields. A lot of people use Dragon Shields just for the accessibility of them because almost every LGS and hell, even Walmart now, sometimes, at least the Walmarts around here, will sell Dragon Shield sleeves. So they're easy access for everybody, but, you know, moving on. Then we have Ultra Pros Apex, which quality-wise, they tend to be a little bit smoother of a shuffle than Dragon Shield. I do like that you can buy them with official Magic the Gathering artwork on them. These are the 30th anniversary ones from a year or two ago. A couple years ago, I guess, at this point. But anyway, nothing's changed quality-wise with the Apexes from Ultra Pro. They're still the same. They all have the gray inner part of the sleeve, no matter what artwork you get. I do not like that they fit just bigger than the card. I've never been a fan of that. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's just a personal preference. Some people dig it. I don't. And that's okay. You know, everybody can like different things. My big gripe, though, with the Apex is more often than not, the boxes are miscut. I've gotten a few boxes of them where they come, you get 105 sleeves in the box. And they're divided up into two smaller packs of, like, you know, 50, 52 cards, whatever. And you'll get one of the packs is fine, and then the next one will either be cut taller or smaller, making them, you know, not very usable in my opinion. But shuffle wise, they shuffle like butter, and if you don't mind the smaller size on the sleeves themselves, it's a great pickup. Plus the artwork is always cool. I'm a sucker for actual Magic artwork on my TCG products, so always a bonus for me. Anyway, I guess we'll talk about the Top Cut gear. A lot of people do not like Top Cut gear because of they don't like the owner, which is a dumb reason in my opinion. If you haven't put your hands on the sleeves, you should at least try them before you know, talk a bunch of crap. They do have the fit that I like, where it's, you know, a couple millimeters bigger than the card. Even on the lighter colors, they're not see-through. I have every color available. They lilac, orange, yellow, these sky blues. None of them are see-through, which is delightful. I've been using them for a month or so now, maybe, give or take. I haven't had any corner bend on any of the sleeves yet. You do get 150 sleeves per box for $11.99, which is a great price. Shameless plug, I guess, if you're interested in trying them, if you use my code Noodles10, it does save you 10% off your entire purchase. Again, everybody has their preference. If you've used them and you don't like them, hey man, cool. Your opinion. I personally like them. I love the value of getting the 150 sleeves because, you know, sometimes in a Commander game, sleeves bend, they rip, whatever. It's nice to have extras from the same batch so you know it will match and not stick out. You couldn't be accused of marking cards. But anyway, Top Cut gear. Moving on. These are Gamegenic Prime sleeves. I do not have the original packaging for them anymore, but I like the Gamegenics, even though they do fit just bigger than the card itself, even though I just talked a bunch of mess about that. I've never had an issue with these ones sliding up, because some of the other ones that fit just bigger, Ultra Pro and Katana, are bad for that. If you shuffle, and you know, most people shuffle, you know, you're holding your deck and you shuffle from the bottom in, enough pressure can cause this card to slide up in the sleeves. But I am squeezing from the bottom and that card is not moving. Yeah, but they're nice. Problem is a lot of their lighter colors are very see-through, the orange and yellow especially. The lime green one, surprisingly, not see-through. Love them. My Toxrill deck was in this color, in this color of these sleeves before I took it apart and sold it. And they held up after a while. Now, after a couple of months, they did get kind of a sticky feel to them where they didn't shuffle as smoothly, but they still shuffled good. I never experienced a bent corner with the Gamegenic sleeves. The texture on the Gamegenic is not as intense, I guess, prominent as some of the other brands. Like, let me pull the Top Cut out here and you can see, show you a comparison. You can see on the blue one, you can really see that matte texture on it, as opposed to it's more subtle on the Gamegenic. So that's part of the reason why Top Cut and Dragon Shield tend to have a smoother shuffle, because of that texture. It allows your cards not to stick together as you shuffle them. But yeah, ignore that if you hear the cat one's out of the room. Anyway, so yeah, that's Gamegenic sleeves for you. They're good. They're a pretty decent price point if you can find them. A lot of stores, at least around here, don't really keep them in stock. We only have one store that's semi-local that stocks them. That's still like a 35-minute drive for me. But I think they're like, you know, $10, $7, $8 for 100 sleeves. It's not bad at all. Like, if you need sleeves on a quick, you know, middle of a tournament, shit, my sleeves ripped, I need new ones, they're not a bad option to have at all. That's actually how we ended up with our first ones. We were at it was an event called Raven Fest, and we needed sleeves quick, so we stopped by the local store up there and grabbed them, and they pretty decent. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. We'll move on to Katana. I know a lot of people swear by katanas and won't use anything else, and that's cool. Your preference. Personally, I am not a huge fan of katanas. They feel, I don't know, they feel very cheapy plastic. You can see even like how shiny they are, just look, you know, I don't know, they just look cheap and feel cheap to me. But this is what I was talking about before about some of the other ones. If you squeeze the bottom, the card does slide. So after you shuffle a bit, depending on how hard you're gripping your cards, they will pop out, and I don't like that. This is a really cool color, but overall, I'm not a fan of katanas. I know some people swear by them, and that's fine. If you dig them, that's perfectly cool. That's why there are so many different brands. Not everybody's going to like everything, and that is A-okay. But yeah, the katanas usually range about $15 to $18, depending on where you get them, for 100 sleeves. And that's, you know, I guess unfortunately about the average price for most sleeves anymore. But yeah, I would not recommend katanas because I do not like them, but it's all preference. If you like them, cool, man. More power to you. Use them. I don't care. We'll move on. So, dual spec. So you actually have two different versions of dual specs. You have the original, which are these, and the XD, which is their remade version. And we will get into the difference between the both of them Let me pull out one of these ones. This is a brand new pack, so give me a minute. I did fall into the hype for dual spec for a hot minute. They're not bad sleeves at all. It's just not a preference of mine because, as you can see here, they are a very snug fit. Even on the sides and the top, they're very snug. They do have that sort of more subtle texture like the Gamegenics have that I was talking about. But let me pull one of these ones out. That way we can compare the difference. So these are the XD version, which are remade. They are supposed to be, hang tight. They are the same size. I was making sure I didn't do it, so I was struggling to read this over. So the only real difference that I've noticed in these is the back texture, which I will pull one out and show you. These do have a more rigid finish on them, which allows for a better shuffle, in my opinion. You can see the texture on those as opposed to the lilacs with the original ones. But again, I'm not a fan of how small the sleeves are. I always prefer that extra bit of room in the top. That's just always something I preferred. Not taking away from these sleeves, if you like them, like the smaller fit, these are a good choice. Yeah, I mean, they're fine sleeves. I'm not gonna, sit and lie and be like, no, these are garbage. Yeah, it's just, I just don't like the fit personally, and that's just personal preference. I prefer the bigger fits that you get with Dragon Shield and the Top Cut gear, and even another brand I've got out here, but we'll get into that. Let me just slide all this to the side for a minute. I'll pop these out so we can continue to put them in sleeves. I'll box those back up here in a bit, and I'll rush to do it on camera. So then we have In-Game Genesis. Well, In-Game is the brand. Genesis is the sub-brand of the sleeve. They also have a sub-brand called Omegas, which I have not got to put my hands on yet, but I hear they're better. It's kind of like how Dual Spec had the originals and the XDs. So the XD was the remake. The Genesis is the original for In-Game, and then the Omega is the redo. And as far as I've been told, the only difference is that texture on the back, because these, as you can see, you get the bigger fit like the Dragon Shield and the Top Cuts, but it does have that subtle, smoother texture that the Dual Spec and the Gamegenic have, which is fine. Like, they still hold up good. My son had been using these red ones on his deck for a couple weeks now, and they seem to be holding up fine. No bent corners or anything like that. So I mean, they're pretty good, and they do offer some really good bright colors. Like, they have it's called Arctic Blue, which is absolutely gorgeous. I did show those specific ones on my TikTok. If you're not following me there, go do that. Actually, this video, I don't know if it's just going on YouTube or it might be on TikTok too. But if it's just on YouTube, go follow my TikTok and check it out. I do love how bright these reds are. They are called Poppy Red. Yeah, Poppy Red. You get 100 sleeves for, I believe it's $12, $13. I don't remember. The only downside, in my opinion, if you're in the States and you're ordering from In-Game, they do ship out of Canada, so the shipping is a little bit more expensive, and it takes a little longer to get to you. So if you need sleeves in a hurry, I couldn't recommend them. But if you just want to try them out, like, yeah, they're good. Like, they're a good option. I mean, definitely worth a checkout. Then we're going to go into FCBC for collected by collectors. These ones are pretty nice. If I can get the sleeve out of the box, because the way the box is folded over, it's not letting come. Anyway, okay, here we go. So they do have that good intense texture, which I like. They also have the good fit that I also like. These are a pretty good price point. I mean, about the same as everybody else, between $12, $15, I guess, depending on where you order them from, for 100 sleeves. Yes, they're good. I've used them for a hot minute now. I can recommend these if you need sleeves. They're cool. They do have some cool colors. The only part that bummed me out is lilac is my favorite color for sleeves, and they call them periwinkle on FCBC's website, and they're always sold out, so I haven't got the chance to put my hands on them yet, but they do have them, so if you can get them, grab them, cool. But yeah, there you go. That's the sleeve roundup for 2025 from the brands I've used, at least. If you wanted my personal recommendation, because I got a couple comments on my last video from last year asking which ones I recommend the most, I would definitely recommend, of course, the Top Cut gears, FCBC, and In-Game. Those three would be my top recommendation, just because I like the fit of these the most. I've had the best experience with all of these. That's, again, just personal preference. I'm not paid to say anything about anything. So all these opinions are my own. Yeah, so there you go. Sleeves for 2025. If you use a brand that I didn't mention, comment down below and let me know so I can check them out, because I love sleeve reviews. I love trying out different sleeves. Yeah, man, so check it out. Peace out. Leave a comment. Subscribe on here. Follow me on TikTok if you don't. And check out Top Cut Gear sleeves at their website, www.topcutgear.com. Use my code if you want to try them out. But you don't have to. I'm just a guy on the internet. Peace out. Have a good day.